Well, after a rousing discussion of death, we're back! We're the Bittersweet Gamers. This is Supposedly Wonderful Future.
I'm We Squared.
I'm the Opinionator.
And this is Mitty.
Man, what a sad revelation. That she has failed in Alzheimer's recovery and is a very old woman and whose mind has regressed to that of a small child.
Well, her body's kind of regressed too.
No, she's just an old woman.
Really? 'Cause, I mean, that hair makes me think that her body has regressed to some point. Plus, she doesn't seem to be quite as, bent over with age as you would
She's sitting
expect.
down. And what about people who aren't hunched? Do you think old people are automatically hunched?
That's a fair point. I shouldn't make generalizations like that.
I mean, my grandfather is hunched, but he recently had back surgery and he isn't anymore.
All right, there you go.
I mean, presumably everybody's generally in really good health except when it comes to things like this. Anyway, I'm not going to bother recapping all the other stuff I said. That's a topic that really could go on about for a long time. And I mean, of course, upon listening to it, it makes me think, well, I could have presented my position like this, or I could have presented it better. I could always present it better, but, so it goes. Got to get my practice in somewhere. Anyway, so we were just about to talk to her, so hello again.
How are you holding up?
I'm bored. Nothing happens.
I wish I had your problems right now.
Oh, I wouldn't mind. It's not so boring to be bored together.
There's wisdom in your words. Mitty, how old are you?
I'm 8. Why?
You don't feel older? Like it's hard to move and you're tired all the time and...
No, I do. But that's just because I'm sick. You always feel tired when you're sick, right?
Do you remember anything from before? Before you and Mommy stopped talking, I mean.
Of course I do. We used to talk and play a lot. I enjoyed it. Mommy's always so nice. She never treated me like a kid. I hate it when people treat you like a little kid. I'm not little.
I'll talk to you later.
This is so miserable.
Painful.
If the only person who's there for her is her daughter, then...
Okay, I keep thinking.
Like that, maybe, just maybe.
Maybe, and maybe finding one of those pictures might be the key.
It's possible, yeah. But if the only person that's there for her is her daughter, then somebody needs to come and just take her somewhere.
Yeah.
Because this isn't the right place to be.
I don't think that this is the right place I need to be either. Okay. He's just speaking theoretically.
Theoretically.
Okay.
And we don't seem to have a choice.
Yes.
Ain't given that pill.
No! We will stop playing this game if there is no choice but to do that. You don't have to do it yourself. Theoretically, what if I give your mother the pill?
No, of course not.
Oh, thank God!
It doesn't matter who gives it to her. It's just wrong.
But you have to decide something.
Thank you. Thank you for that. No, never! I can't decide. I won't decide. I'll just sit here till it all works out by itself. Yes, it all works out in the end somehow. I have got to say, I appreciate this.
Yes.
I appreciate that a lot. And also, I remember in the last episode, just about the time when we first began talking to her, I was like, you can't just take no responsibility whatsoever. You can't just hide from everything. You can't just...
You can't just sit. You'll both die if you just sit. That would be the worst way.
But why? Bad things happen when you try to do something. Nothing wrong will happen if I just sit here.
I kind of want to be harsh with her, but probably not for the best. Look, just hear me out.
Remember this. You are the man she is waiting for. You are from the Life Plus agency.
That's true.
You are here with your unique perspective from the past. You are here to help. I, too, think that there is a time to be very, very harsh, and it is extremely useful in solving certain problems sometime. You know, the stick in the carrot and the stick approach, okay? but I do not think that this is what
Yeah.
Michael Morton is here for. He
Yeah.
is not here to be harsh. He
Right,
is
that's
here to
why.
help.
That's why I also reconsidered.
I agree.
But I wanted to be like, woman!
Yes, I agree.
Look, just hear me out, okay? I know it's hard, and you're not even fully aware of your surroundings, but we need to talk it through.
Yes. I mean, the idea that he can do something, that he can just solve this problem, is also kind of naive.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like, let's wait and see what he does. That's the whole purpose
Yeah.
of doing this, right?
Right. I think you should go there and play along. Pretend like she's your daughter now.
But I can't. She thinks she's a kid. I hate kids.
She's not a kid, she's your mother, and she needs you now more than ever. Isn't it what being family is all about? To help each other no matter what?
Yes, it is. But no, please. It's too hard.
It is hard. It is horribly, unbelievably hard. I think it will be a torture, and I can't even fathom how you feel. But it's a torture you need to endure together, like a family.
So, my question is, though, is this the only option available? I mean, I believe that this is the right call, completely. Unsurprisingly, if you've seen the previous episodes, our thinking is pretty in line with how this game works pretty much across the board, from taste in video games and random references and gags to, a little more worldview stuff. But, I do think that if you don't choose the answer yourself, that there's no merit
Right.
in
I
it.
can't make her decision for her.
Well, I'm saying, what if you had said, I'll do it, I'll give the pill? Would you still end up here? Not the theoretically one, but were there some options where you could have been like, well, I'll do it?
Yeah,
or,
but she
shut
probably
up,
would have protested.
Shut up, woman,
Yeah.
or something like that. I'm really
That could
curious.
have been like tough love or good cop, bad cop sort of thing, maybe.
And maybe it could
Like,
have.
how did
but
you
the thing
shake her
is,
up?
But the thing is I kind of think that maybe that's a problem. Well, all I'm wondering is this the only outcome? Never mind the fact that it's the outcome that the two of us agree with. Is this the only outcome? So if you're listening, Dimitri, please let us know. Because I do think that's important. I think that doing the right thing only has value when you do it. Michael is saying to the woman here, you have to get up, you have to take responsibility, you have to do what's hard, it's terrible, you're right, no one does understand how you feel, no one ever can, and it's so horrible, but it's what you must do. But is that the only thing that can happen? So it's like, are there options? Or not, no matter what, we obviously have a pretty strong feeling about this. What if you feel strongly the other direction? I mean, you can make an argument. You can make a darn good argument. I don't agree with it, and that's not my point. But what if you firmly believe strongly the other side? Are you going to be forced to go down this path?
Oh,
that is what I am protesting.
You're saying, what if we can, in fact, make them or tell her to give the poison.
Yes.
Words. They're hard.
Yes.
But then we still come out through the scenario with that ending.
With this same type of discussion. Like, that's important because there's no meaning in making this choice.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's like, don't we have to make the choice? Isn't that the part that matters?
Yes.
Isn't that the whole point of this trial and indeed this game? So I just don't know if there is a choice that can be made.
Right.
Because much as we said earlier, we will stop playing this game if we're forced to give her that pill. Mm-hmm. If you had the exact opposite point of view, then isn't it also completely valid to be like, but I don't believe this. Why am I forced to do it?
I see.
Just that. That is where I am. So, please. Oh, I beg you, please.
She would have been proud of you, a daughter that never abandoned her until the very end. Nobody could wish for a better daughter.
Yes! Oh my God, I'll try.
Thank you. Now, just be careful, one step at a time. And flush that crap down the toilet. The woman rises
No!
from her stool.
Don't do that! You don't know what'll happen!
I suppose you're right. Ecological concerns. The woman rises up from her stool with a huge effort and starts to slowly move towards the kitchen's door, shaking badly but still maintaining her balance. You consider giving her a hand, but then conclude it might confuse and weaken her even more.
Yes, I agree with this!
It seems to you that each step takes a year, that by the time she gets to the bedroom, you will be as old and wrinkled as her mother. Then again, after the talks about the future in your office, a sudden change of scenery, and this place is emotional turmoil.
Emotional turmoil!
Your perception of time is too messed up to give it any credit. Okay.
I also think that it's pretty fantastic that you were not absolutely overloaded with junk to look at.
Yeah, I also agree with that. I'm just gonna check the picture one more time.
You ain't overwhelmed with junk to look at! Meanwhile, Billy's like, where's more stuff to look at? No, I agree completely.
You enter the bedroom just as the woman gets close enough for Mitty to notice her. The old lady's eyes light up, and she makes an effort to jump off the bed in excitement like a real little girl would do. But her health quickly betrays her, and she opts for a simple smile of recognition.
Oh, that's so sad. Mommy. Hello, darling. Did you come to play? Yes. Wow, this is so cool. I have so many games in mind, I don't know where to start. Listen, darling, let's play a special game. What kind of game? The game of switching roles. You'll be my mother, and I will be your daughter. Okay, that must be fun. But I'll be a good and happy mommy. I'm not going to cry, and I'll play with my daughter all the time. Let's play and play and play. Wow, I feel like a great mommy already. That's because you are. I mean, you will be. I mean...
The woman collapses on her knees, unable to hold the weight of her own body any longer, places her head on the old lady's lap, and starts to shake with silent sobs, but then stops quickly and abruptly, as if left with no energy to produce any movement at all. A paralyzing thought crosses your mind that she collapsed for good, or can collapse for good any moment now. That powers of one broken middle-aged man... That powers of one broken middle-aged woman are nowhere near enough to hold this twisted experiment for any meaningful amount of time. But you wave this thought away with all your might. You must believe that you've done the right thing. You have to believe.
Yeah.
But then the woman falls asleep and her breath gets steady, while the old lady leans a little forward and starts to stroke her new mother's hair, an affectionate and peaceful expression on her wrinkled face. You hear a faint clicking noise coming from somewhere in the hallway. The front door you tried so fruitlessly to open before must be unlocked now.
Isn't this the response or the ending that we needed?
Yeah.
I mean, where you don't run from your responsibility, where you just do what you can in a terrible situation. You make the best of it. You just do everything you can to try and reduce the suffering in the world, in your own life, just a little bit. You do what you can. You don't just ignore it, and you don't just try to write it off. Every single one of us is going to lose a parent, or already has. Mm-hmm. Every single one of us is... I mean, how many of us have known grandparents and lost them? You can't escape something like this, and sometimes the tragedy is far worse than others. We all have to face it. We can't run away. The worst thing you can do is just ignore them. I mean, clearly, I feel really strongly about abandoning your family.
Right?
Never gonna do it. Couldn't do it.
Mitty made these. Somehow, it doesn't look so creepy now, but it doesn't look so funny either. Advertising euthanasia. What a sick joke.
Huh. We can look at the pictures and the shoes, huh?
I wonder if these shoes are going to be used anytime soon. If ever. I wish this teddy was the heaviest thing this girl ever had to carry. I wish it so much right now.
Wouldn't it be nice if none of us ever had to carry any burdens, yet all of us must and all of us do?
Sometimes wishing for time to stand still is not such a bad idea.
Wishing for it? My God, I'm the most guilty person in the whole world of wishing for time to stand still.
You know that clock never moved. The clock in Mitty's room?
It was always stuck at 0, wasn't it? Why don't you go back and take a look at that?
Yeah.
The clock in Michael's office at the beginning of the game, it passed in real time.
Yeah.
But this clock...
Nope, still stuck.
Still standing still. Well, the clock, after all, is Mitty's clock. It's standing still for Mitty, and, you know, something that we didn't see before.
The calendars.
Right, and something we couldn't see before is all the pills over there.
That's true. The date's marked out. The dates are marked out, Damon. Are we in the future?
Well, yes. Because
you're right.
There's no Life Plus organization.
What if, and this is the one of my patented crazy out of left field
You patented
theories.
that?
Yes, I did. Dang it. You want to fight?
Are you going to be able to collect on that?
I don't know. What if time travel and all that stuff doesn't exist? What if they're considering working on an immortality drug and this is some kind of test, some sort of ethics test?
Yeah, I can see that. I don't actually believe it.
Well, me either, really. But it was just an interesting thought I had.
Well, just because I don't believe it doesn't mean that it's not going to be true.
Right.
You've gotten some things right like that, after all. Why do you sound sad? Anyway, it's green light now.
The front door is open. You are free to leave this place. There's no reason to stay any longer, so let's head on out. You walk through the door and out of the building to find that the world outside looks just as dark and eerie as the 4 rooms from before.
Oh, yeah?
A silhouette of what appears to be Jackie nods and waves its hand towards a car so blurred it surely won't be able to take you anywhere.
In the future, the sun has burned out and there is no light anywhere. Isn't it wonderful? No, we just don't want you to see anything. That's the nature of this.
You take a seat anyway, and much to your surprise, the engine roars to life. Shadows of skyscrapers start to pass by behind the window.
The cars don't fly, but they do run on nuclear reactors capable of Mach speed.
But all of them are just different variations of the mother-turned-daughter and daughter-turned-mother swirling in crazy dances, excited to welcome you into their household as a new family member. When the dimly lit house finally gives way to reality, you find yourself staring at a city skyline through a window wall, apparently at a high floor of some building. Jackie stands nearby in a stunning skin-tight suit, looking tense but much more composed and determined than she was back at your office.
Don't you know? In the future, everyone dresses like an idiot, and apparently no one has long hair. How sad.
It appears she is ready to answer a lot of questions and prepared that some of them won't be nice. Whatever happened to you was part of the plan.
Well, what do you think?
I kind of want to be a little hostile.
Go ahead, you're playing.
You again? What on earth has happened?
The first problem.
What? You're joking? What kind of problem is that?
A real kind.
A real kind? More like a sick kind. You people are all crazy here.
Michael, please try to calm down. I will answer all your questions, but you need to ask them first. Okay, so this is going to be another one of those... You pick everyone, probably.
Yeah. Was it even real? How did I appear in that house right when you pressed the button? How come you were with me before but not after?
I programmed our time-traveling routes this way. You know, they say that advanced technology appears to be nothing more than magic to those who can't understand it. The technology allows us to define a destination very precisely. You appeared in that room. I appeared elsewhere.
And then you closed the door and watched.
Yes, I did. That part was for you alone to experience. But I'm helping you now. We will get closure together.
But why did you throw me there straight away? Why not explain things first?
Because real problems don't wait till you finish a tutorial or pass a briefing.
Are you trying to make some kind of video game-based statement?
Well, it's an easy one to understand if you're playing a video game.
That's true.
They come and punch you in the face, and then they stay with you until and unless you solve them.
I thought you people were immortal here. How come the very first thing I had to deal with was a terminal illness case?
You can still die, and if they can't cure the illness, they can't cure the illness. Not immortal, Michael, and in fact, I never said that word. We simply possess technology to prevent aging and decrease the chances of most age-related diseases. When these diseases happen anyway, however, it's an entirely different story. We still bleed and suffer from injuries, can be shot or stabbed. Immortality might be a wrong word here altogether.
Yet you didn't object to that word when recruiting me, because she did say it.
I'm wrong, my God. Just like all of our media today, humanity likes to celebrate its achievements, and it has every right to do so. In this particular case, more than ever. However you call it, it is still a wonder. For the first time in history, we're able to cheat death.
Okay, before we continue, I noticed something that may or may not be interesting. While looking out of Michael's window, you could see cars moving by on the outside.
That's true.
But nothing here, but you could clearly see things on the water. Now, I might just be reading too far into that.
Well, you know, we did look at the credits.
I hit the wrong button.
We did look at the credits before we starting the game. You know, we knew this is a solo developed game. And so I was really curious if the credits were gonna be everything Dimitri, but instead it was Dimitri going crediting all the extensive assets that he used to make the game, and so I mean, practically speaking, those were moving because it was easy to make the move, and this is more like a photo or something.
I understand. I'm just saying it might be worth considering. Wink, wink.
Perhaps.
Back in character. You lied to me. You said that all problems will be perfectly solvable. I don't remember when she said that, actually.
When in human history has every problem been solvable so neatly? Yes. And that you can solve them with your mind, which is exactly what you did.
I didn't solve it. I couldn't solve it. There was nothing left to solve. Only to watch and suffer with them.
So was that the only option after all, then? You gave closure to a woman who was so mentally paralyzed and overwhelmed she couldn't get up from her chair. This is a solution. You made a difference back there.
I thought I was coming to a utopia, not a horror freak show.
I never said this future was perfect. Look at the title of the game, for goodness sake, right?
Shut up!
The better the world appears, the more important it is to look its problems straight in the eye. Humanity didn't come this far by being complacent.
Stop being so reasonable!
Yes! Yes! You don't just look at things on the surface. Everything is freaking complex. Trade-offs. Ow!
So this is the price? You're going to put me through hell before I can live here?
No. We're going to put you through all kinds of things.
Oh, that's better.
But it is important to understand that even immortality won't solve all the troubles in the world, or you're in for a big disappointment.
Why me? It was a job for a therapist. I write code for a living and read Dostoevsky.
For a living? Oh, sign me up! Outsider's perspective. By knowing next to nothing about this time and place, you possess no bias and no prejudice. Though I must say, you do possess the bias and prejudice from your own culture, which can never be avoided or removed, and from the players, for the same reason. But blah, 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 what do you want? You have no idea how valuable it is to have an unbiased mind in a team. With years, we've come to appreciate that.
Do you expect me to shrug this off? To wake up tomorrow and carry on like nothing's happened?
Poor baby. Do you want a Band-Aid or a lollipop? No. But we expect you to keep functioning, and we'd really like you to unload emotional baggage between the problems, so you can face each one of them with a clear head. I know it's a big and very cruel thing to ask, and it won't be easy, but the result is worth it. The help that you can bring this world is worth it.
Is that everything?
No, I'm still lying to you about a great many things. We just need to discuss what happened back in the house.
Fine. Then maybe you can do some actual explaining.
Well, You already know the premise. At first, there was an old woman diagnosed with a late stage of Alzheimer's disease and the newest medical advancements that could cure it, but it didn't work. And then, it was her desperate daughter who asked the doctors for that last sad bit of help to let her mother go peacefully.
Yes, that much she managed to tell me.
But even in a society where euthanasia is officially allowed, you need to make sure there is no other option left. Physical healing made way for counseling. Different doctors came and tried helping her to cope. Then, another specialist arrived to see if she at least possessed mental capacity to choose euthanasia in good conscience. She hadn't, of course. The pressure was becoming too much for the poor woman. I agree with that very much.
Then that pill was planted there for us.
Yes, because again,
I see.
Right, and furthermore, we still didn't have the context.
And that's why the letter was chopped up, so we wouldn't know the full story, but could piece some of it together.
Now, I'm still not going to say, like, hooray, let's all allow euthanasia under these specific things.
Right.
Because, again, it's a more complex issue, and I think this game is doing it justice.
Yeah,
well.
I'm really impressed.
But it's like, if you are going to do it, I mean, what she just said, you have to have the capacity to choose, and it has to be the last option, and it can only be an option under certain circumstances. Yeah. Those are the only circumstances that I could even consider it. But as long as it's just absolutely required, you just have to value life.
Yeah.
Not just throw it away. Since when is committing suicide really ever cheered? Unless it's one thing if you're sacrificing your life for somebody else.
Yeah. Or like an ideal, maybe?
Perhaps. I mean, if you're a sacrifice is by definition not for personal gain.
Yeah.
Well, yet the status quo proved impossible to keep as well. She was slipping out of reality along with her mother. The tension had to be released, even if it meant making this decision for them. That's when I discovered the case and quickly picked it up.
And so you called the man from the agency.
Oh, have you figured it out yet? Yes, and prepared a pill for you to find and possibly use. Placed it on her table right before you arrived.
But why? I couldn't possibly make things more right than an entire group of medical professionals.
I wonder again, could you have taken that choice?
Yeah.
I honestly believe you could. It's not just about your perspective, it's about little things. Being a professional is important, yet it's easy to forget what simple, genuine empathy can do. If you remember. I'm really proud of how you handled this.
I wonder if we'd just get a completely different spiel if we'd done the pill thing.
Maybe.
So her mother did have Alzheimer's disease.
What a positive and life-affirming thing to say. Like, of course professionals are professionals and nobody is underestimating them.
Right.
But simple human relations, like, everyone has the capacity to make a difference. Mm-hmm. Just because someone is an expert doesn't mean that theirs is the only perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to denigrate the expert, but it's not like...
It's not that simple. It's complicated.
Not ruled by technocrat. Yes.
And she was old.
What was I saying before?
I was saying Alzheimer's disease.
Oh. Yeah. I am remembering everything. Yes.
Does that mean she couldn't afford your immortality?
No. Maybe she just decided not to do it.
Decided not to be immortal?
Maybe. Or maybe she was planning to do it later on. The renewal can't make you young again.
Aha!
I see. Okay.
So my earlier statement bears fruit!
I guess it was true. It can only maintain your age. Now, hold on. Okay, so that's fine. I can totally accept that. I mean, I made an argument the other way. But if this is 2048, How is she 61?
That's what I said in the first episode.
Well, that means that's why I said, well, it clearly does reverse aging then.
So she's lying about something.
She's lying about one of those things. It either doesn't maintain your age and it does make you young again.
Or she's not 61. I feel some matter of vindication.
Or it's not 2048.
That's fair. That's fair.
It would have to be... Well, anyway. So, as long as you're not too old for the procedure, a couple of years won't make much difference. 63 or 65, it doesn't really matter.
Still, the risk probably increases with each passing year. I make this statement with clearly no training in medical procedure whatsoever. If she went through the renewal as soon as possible, maybe none of this would have happened?
Is that the one you want to go with, as opposed to the second option?
I don't know. I kind of feel like, after I got it out of my system, I kind of feel like being more amicable with her. Like being snarky in the beginning.
It's also not entirely possible that number 2 option is wrong.
Yeah. But that's why I kind of want to pick the first one.
No, you pick what you want. I just wanted to take a moment to talk about that.
Yeah.
That only makes sense in retrospective. It's the counterfactual. There are less known but equally ruthless illnesses that target young people or people in their prime, or accidents that have nothing to do with your age. You can't really predict the killing blow. You just take your chances.
Well, heck, since it's still available, if that's so, I'm sure it's easy to overlook that your renewal is only available to those who can pay for it.
Well, what do you want from me? Of course it costs money, and of course it's not that simple. We try to make it as cheap as we can, as accessible in every part of the world as we can. Some people still can't afford that. We can't make it free.
Yep.
It isn't in the first place. Nothing is free. Somebody has to pay for it somewhere down the line. Then again, some people don't even want it. They shove it back in our face and die with a smile on their lips, pitying us.
And so humanity gets another way to split into us and them. Another way to start hating each other.
I kind of agree with that as well. I mean, it's just rough is what it is. No, that is not how it goes. This dystopia exists only in the minds of those who want to believe in it. I can guarantee that much. In other words, she's saying we don't all have to hate each other.
Right.
Why can't we just respect those decisions?
I have another question.
Sure.
I still don't understand how surgery could screw up her mind in such a strange way.
Are you just picking the first choice and moving down?
Might as well. If I'm going to explore them all, then does the order really matter?
I suppose so, but isn't it one of our hallmarks to look at a completely inconsequential choice and agonize about it for 5 minutes?
I guess so. You are correct.
That doesn't mean that's what we need to do, but we've spent a lot of time doing that. I'm no neurosurgeon myself, but I'm pretty sure any treatment of Alzheimer's late stages must include some memory-related manipulation, because recollections are already affected by the disease. Some say it's still a volatile process that can, in rare cases, spiral out of control and just unhinge things instead of ordering them. Then again, the human mind always tries to make sense of stuff, even if working with completely irrational data. Being a little girl was probably the most reasonable conclusion from the remaining mess. No. That's pretty interesting. You know, one of the things that she's saying, we've said it before, but she keeps going to this, is you do what you can, but you have to do something.
Yeah.
Not everything is going to be instantly perfect right away, but we have to just make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate the lack of compulsion.
Yes. I must admit, though, she really put me off with her hatred for kids.
And I'm not sure what she's about to say to this. It really could be like I had surmised.
Just distress?
Possibly it could have been like an overreaction to her own trauma. It was awful to hear at first, but that may not have been charitable. And we even talked about that, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I can give you some context for that. She has a grown-up son, but their relationship's a mess, and they haven't talked once in about 10 years.
It still doesn't justify the hatred.
It's just her way to deal with it, Michael. When they broke up for good, she started with denial. And Then she cemented this denial by thinking that raising kids is someone's cruel joke. She said some nasty things since then, and it's tempting to hate her. But remember that cruel words often come from those who feel hurt the most. In other words, try to understand everyone. I'm really glad that we were open to that possibility.
I kind of don't want to say any of these. I mean, that bad, huh? That one's acceptable.
It's very bad, from what I could gather. The fact that she hates her son's guts was probably the most consistent thing the doctors heard from her. As for the son, they tried to contact him many times to no avail. I also called him myself, but he just said he doesn't care, in the most casual voice possible. I didn't back down right after that, of course, but in the end, my convincing skills were clearly insufficient.
Man, I wonder if they'll let me talk to him with my fist to his face.
So,
not like this is personal for me or anything.
Well, really, that's what it's about, isn't it? Isn't it that? That's really what it is. So, other than that, it was about 15 years ago, I guess. Maybe not quite that long. I was reading the paper, and I was reading Dear Abby's column. Because that's actually it's a really
I used to read
column.
that too.
Yeah, it's good. I can't remember her name. Jean, something like that. Anyway, it's the original Dear Abby. It's the original Winsdaughter.
Oh, nice, carrying on the torch.
Anyway, something that I thought was really fascinating, one that just really stuck with me was the question was about, it was a woman sent in to her saying, my whole life, my mother and I have never gotten along. Now I'm in my 30s. I just don't want to have anything to do with her, and explained what the situation was. And, of course, it was only her, the daughter's perspective, but she was basically saying that her mother was just terrible to her, had always had been her entire life, and she was just sick of it. And Abby responded, sometimes relationships are just toxic. If you have determined that a relationship is that toxic, then why do you need to put yourself through that pain? What obligation do you have? You're just killing yourself doing it. If you have to cut somebody out of your life, then you have to cut somebody out of your life. And that just made a strong impression on me.
Yeah.
And so, we don't know all the context. And I just really like that this game isn't judgmental, and it's like things are complicated and there's a lot of context. And even context, she says, that we don't have.
Yeah. Well...
So you don't have to go through those. If you don't want to, you can just move on.
Yeah, I will. I have another question.
Sure.
The woman said the surgery had 90% chance of success. Is it for real? I had to try really hard not to say it. For real?
You should have! Of course. They don't take the numbers off the top of their heads. I'm sure it's as accurate as any calculated probability can be today.
What, heart bypass surgery? Let's see here. I'd say maybe 45%.
Well, no.
Spitballing it.
No, that's probably pretty good these days.
Well, right.
There are very precise computer simulations of medical procedures to give you a representative sample even before first volunteers come through your door. It means that 9 out of every 10 patients are cured. Nothing less and nothing more.
I don't agree with this, though.
I feel the same way.
That's an amazing percentage.
In fact, well, no, he means it's unlucky that she was one that failed. But I mean, point. Michael even had that to say to the daughter. Yeah. Before.
Yeah, it took you a moment.
90% is 90%.
That's true.
It doesn't. It just because it's the odds are.
It could be 99%. There's still that 1%.
I mean, 9 out of 10, a 10% chance of failure. That's not extremely small. I'm not going to call that an overwhelming chance of success.
Right, but that's really unlucky.
Mathematically speaking, it has nothing to do with luck. Speaking as a human being, though, it sucks. But our doctors make sure to carry the message across. They will never accept anybody for experimental treatment unless they completely understand the meaning behind the numbers. That woman knew the risks.
Then why did she agree?
That's stupid! Why'd you pick that? another one.
But she still signed up for it.
Because the alternative was even worse. Can you really blame her? If you could see probabilities of your daily activities, how many 90% chances would you take each day? 80% chances? 70% chances? People are going with such risks all the time, and then some. We just hope that the dice roll favors us, but it doesn't have to. The dice doesn't care about us at all.
Well, maybe there are forces behind the dice that do.
Yeah, maybe. But apparently, even they decided not to help her.
So what happens now?
Now, we can try to relax. One of our employees will come and show you the way to the cafeteria, where you can experience our fine, futuristic cuisine. Spoilers, it's really just the same. I'm kidding, it's not really futuristic, just a bit more fusion-esque, maybe.
Ho 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 ho!
So flirt, companionship, or retreat?
Aren't you gonna join me? Maybe we can chat about some less work-related themes.
Oh, knock it off! You're really gross sometimes. No, sorry. I kind of just eat sandwiches right here during projects while I keep looking at the files.
Busybody.
Efficient use of time. There's usually so much left to prepare and finalize. I wouldn't have enough time if I was chilling at the cafeteria. Besides, you are really kind of gross.
Sounds like you're really busy. Oh.
Well, I signed up for it. And I knew beforehand that I won't be getting much help with all this secrecy about time traveling and stuff. It's all right. I enjoy a frantic pace every once in a while. It makes you feel alive. Very tired, but alive. Again, personal choice throughout this, and responsibility for that choice. That as a major theme of this game, I appreciate that very, very much.
The feel alive part is probably worth it.
But we can definitely have a more casual chat if you'd like.
Oh.
That's the time that won't be wasted. Take an elevator back after you finish. Chances are I'll still be around working. Just don't forget to check your room first.
My room? Shouldn't you drive me to a hotel for the night or something? I'm incorrigible.
My God, we can't let you out of this place. Who knows what you'll do? We have rooms right here. They're hotel rooms, for all intents and purposes, only...
Only you can keep an eye on me 24/7.
Yes. Also, we won't waste time on transportation or money, so there will be more left for sleep.
Can I wander around the rest of the building?
No, sorry.
Oh.
You only have access to this floor and the floor below, where your room and the cafeteria are.
I can just press a different button in the elevator, you
My
know.
God, you're brilliant. We never thought that could occur, but we can calculate the probability of... You certainly can. It will scan your fingerprint, check it with our systems for security clearance, and refuse to move.
How do you even have my fingerprints?
We took it from an old database. Something about a trip to Brazil.
I don't want to talk about Brazil.
It's not easy to exist in the 21st century without leaving your fingers behind.
But they said they'd delete them right after the visit.
And you believe? I imagine they tried, but you know how hard it is to completely delete something.
So I'm safely locked up at all times.
Please don't take it the wrong way.
I'll take it however way I choose.
Each person you interact with is another chance of affecting this timeline, and therefore another set of complex calculations for us. We just have to keep it manageable.
What about people at the cafeteria?
There's nobody around
Oh.
there at this hour, and the service is automated. All of that is intentional, of course. Actually, the place is hardly used at all. I don't even remember which one of the execs insisted that folks from the top floors need their own place to chow, but clearly it wasn't a very good idea.
I could be back home romancing Garrus at this point.
You are obsessed with that.
Are these Life Plus offices?
Yes, we're currently at the 29th floor of our corporate headquarters. This is our base of operations for the rest of the project. Get used to the view.
It's a pretty nice view. Wink.
Do note, none of the boats will ever move. That's because this is actually a backdrop and you're not looking at anything. We don't want you to see anything that will mess things up. Haven't you gotten that in your head yet? Here, we can discuss our work in the evening and have briefings in the morning. There'll be some of the latter, too, I promise.
Yeah, right.
Oh, there is also an access point in your room, so you can go online if you want.
Oh, sweet! 2048 porn!
You know, read the news, visit websites. Why are we allowing this to happen? There's one daily newspaper I put in your favorites. It's reasonably good. Better than my convoluted explanations, anyway.
Whoa! One does not simply walk into Mordor. I mean, give me access to the internet of the future, and then expect I will spend more time on sleep.
Well, you know what we're talking about personal choice and taking responsibility for those choices? I'm sure you can find reasonable balance.
Shall I go then?
Get out. Sure, and thank you for today, really. This might be our most ambitious and exciting project to date, and I'm grateful that you've agreed to make it possible. Have a good night. I still think there
How far have hot dogs come in 30 years? What?
Oh, that's a great idea, but it looks like it's chicken chow mein.
Fair enough.
I'm still wondering how much more there is going on than the very basics.
Chicken chow mein. Kung Pao potatoes.
Kung Pao potatoes?
Egg fried rice with prawns and peas.
That sounds great.
Thai-style fish cakes with cucumber relish.
I really like Kung Pao. Gong Bao, I guess is actually what you say it is.
Spare rib soup with watercress and apricot kernels. Jesus Christ!
Apricot kernels? I've never eaten those.
11-ounce top sirloin steak with sautéed mushrooms, glazed carrots, onion rings, and curry sauce. Ooh. I hope he's just reading the menu or he's going to have a really hard time in the bathroom later.
Curry sauce on a steak. I might have to try that.
Yes, this is all much better reading than a certain booklet about a certain medicine that's still assaulting your mental well-being somewhere deep inside. What?
You know, the euthanasia.
Your
life,
okay.
Your choice.
You go through the menu 2 more times before pressing the buttons on a place your order terminal, settling on some pizza.
What, you freaking loser!
Hashtag relatable. For me, anyway. The next 30 minutes pass in contemplative chewing as you dine alone in a hall full of unused tables. Upon exiting the cafeteria, you are greeted by the same Life Plus employee who showed you the way here earlier.
I'm Faceless Man!
He gestures towards the passage ahead, inviting you to follow him.
This way to the passage!
You make a feeble attempt at small talk while the two of you walk through empty corridors.
My disease is simply cured! That's why I talk like this!
But all your questions get deflected with polite suggestions to consult the project manager.
You won't want to talk to me if I talk like a doof!
A few minutes later, you open another door and find yourself in a small hotel-type room.
I followed you in here!
This is where you're supposed to rest and sleep before plunging into the unknown again.
Oh,
go away!
Keep watch over you! Ah! Well,
Rising?
Shall we look at a few things, or shall we say we've had enough and we starts the next one with something nice and light before everything gets real heavy again?
I guess we can end here.